Hi everyone, this is Sarah Durham, attorney with Blizzard and Zimmerman. I wanted to speak with you today about the first step of the writ process, which is gathering records. You've heard us talk about it a little bit. I wanted to provide some detail today on how to navigate those waters because they can sometimes be a little tedious and frustrating, but there is a method to the madness, I believe. So the records that you want to obtain are the record on appeal, the defense file, and the state's file. Now the record on appeal consists of two pieces, the clerk's record and the reporter's record. Your first place to go for that is the appellate attorney, him or herself. So ask the appellate attorney for the record on appeal. If you are sending a letter, and actually it's probably best practice to have a letter from your loved one, signed by your loved one, written from their perspective. I would like to request my file, or I would like to request the appellate record in my case, something like that, because an attorney is going to be leery to turn over anything not to their client. So make sure you have a letter at the ready. So that is the appellate file. If for some reason the appellate attorney does not have it, maybe it's an older case, it's since been destroyed. I've come across records that were destroyed in Harvey a few years ago. You never know what might happen. So if the appellate attorney doesn't have it, then you can ask the district clerk for the clerk's record. You can ask the reporter, him or herself, for the reporter's record. Just know that there will be cost associated with that. Whereas if you get it from the appellate attorney, it's free. They'll just give you the appellate record. For some reason, the district clerk or the reporter, him or herself, is a little too expensive, then you can also request the record directly from the Court of Appeals. And so there are 14 courts of appeals in Texas. Whichever one your loved one's case was appealed to, go to that court, request the record in the same way. And you'll speak to the clerk or someone who deals with records in that department. So that is the record on appeal. Now you have the defense file. Again, you'll want a letter from your loved one because they are the client, or they were the client. So they're requesting their own file from the defense attorney. And then just provide that letter to the defense attorney, and then be prepared to provide something for the files, whether the attorney requests a thumb drive or a blank CD or something to transfer those files, especially if it's a really large file. Email's just not going to cut it. So just be prepared for that. The state's file. And this is where open records requests come in. So a lot of agencies, I know, like Dallas PD, they have online open record requests. And so you can request, dash cam footage or body cam footage, search warrants, anything, police reports, anything related to the case that way. But you'll also want the state's file. So while the police department might have some of those things, the state is going to have, other things that the police department doesn't have. So you'll want to send a letter to the DA's office of the county of conviction and request through an open records request, which is Texas Government Code 552, if you want to look that up, or the Attorney General's website has an entire handbook on open records requests. It's pretty lengthy, but you can kind of get the gist or the basics from it. But anyway, you want to submit the open records request and then be prepared to wait for just a little bit, because while there are time limits that are associated with open records requests during this time of COVID, they're a little more lenient. And so technically they have 10 business days to either provide you with the records or seek an attorney general's opinion. That has been increased to basically as long as they need, if they're running on a skeleton crew, or there are certain caveats that the Attorney General has put in place since COVID. So again, be prepared for that and just waiting a little longer. If the state does seek an Attorney General's opinion, that will take a little longer. The Attorney General, they're asking the Attorney General, must I provide these records to this requester, or is there a statute that precludes me from doing so? So that is, it's just something that they do. And then you will, as the requester, be provided with a letter from the Attorney General that explains his position on the matter. Likely you will get the records. They might be redacted in some form or fashion. There are certain types of cases where the records won't be divulged, but it's worth a shot. So submit the open records request via letter to the DA, or if there's an online format in that county, go ahead and utilize that. So those are the methods that you can pursue and to get that record on appeal, the defense file, and the state's file. So good luck to you out there, and I will talk to you again soon.